Okay, I had to change headphones, so the sound might be a little bit different, but I think you're basically hearing me. Um, so I think we can talk about that. We're now at the level where we can talk about the bigger, more complicated things in the movie. Although I swear to God, the biggest, most complicated thing in the movie is the way that it thinks it treats you like you're smart. I'm going to come back to this again and again and again. When I go to movies, I often feel like the movie's treating me like I'm fucking stupid. And I'll give you a great example. I saw this movie called The Mist, and it's not a good movie. But it's about small town, and people are in a grocery store, and this fog comes in, and then they're trapped in because of this crazy fog, and then there are fucking monsters in the fog. Like big, scary fucking monsters. And they kill them. People are like, what are we going to do? How do we deal with it? Anyway, eventually, the survivors of the monster attacks get into a car, and they drive out, trying to see if they just keep driving, maybe eventually they'll get out of the fog and they'll be safe. And they run out of gas. And they're like, that's it. There's still fog. There's still monsters out there. We're going to die. And they can't do this on foot, right? So they're like, shit. And they kind of look around. They're like, oh, the car's on empty. Gas tank is empty. And the main character, he has a gun with him. And he looks down, and he's got bullets in his hand. He has 5 bullets. And there are 5 people in the car, including him. And you realize he's thinking about maybe they should all commit suicide, right? I mean, do they want to you want to get eaten by monsters, or you want to shoot yourself in the head? It's a tough choice, but that's the choice the characters are struggling with. And he's thinking about it, and it's kind of an emotional moment. And then he says out loud, there's enough for each of us. We can each kill ourselves instead of getting eaten by monsters. And I yelled so loud at the TV. I was like, fuck you for thinking that I'm stupid. You think I couldn't figure that out? Like, yes, I noticed there are 5 people in the car. You got 5 bullets, and you just ran out of gas in the middle of Monster Town, and there's no hope left because no one's there to save you, and you have no plan. I figured that out on my own. But then the movie was like, Jeff's stupid. Let's explain it to him. Let's have the actor say this out loud. Tons of movies do that all the time. They say out loud exactly what's happening because they think you are too stupid to figure it out on your own. And you are not. You are not stupid. And it's insulting to be treated like you are stupid. Okay, cool. So, I think that to me is the most important and craziest thing about 2001, is that it suggests a world. This is really my big point. I should save this for the very end. But it suggests a world where movies could treat the audience like they're smart. It suggests a world where maybe people aren't stupid. Maybe people would sit through a 2.5-hour movie with no dialogue for 40 minutes, and they, instead of being told what to think or how to feel, they could watch the movie and then they could decide what to think and how to feel. And 2001, you may think that it's boring and nothing happens, and you want to see some sexy girls and some guns and some, violence and stuff, but like, the movie thinks you're smart, and I like that feeling of giving me a place to play around and think. All right. Let's talk about some of the themes. Actually, I mentioned evolution, so I think we can jump to this. It expects you to notice things, and this is also the movie is worth watching several times. I know you're like, oh my God, I barely made it through that movie once. I'm not watching it more. But it's only upon repeated viewings that you start to notice some of the more interesting details about it. So, simple example. I mentioned in the last video that there's a kind of evolution thing going on, right? The monolith shows up, and then the monkeys suddenly know how to use tools. Maybe the monolith gave them that idea. And then there's a monolith on the moon. And then we jump to Hal, and it feels like Hal has evolved also into some kind of sentient living creature that doesn't want to die. And then Dave Bowman, at the end of the movie, he gets transformed. He goes on some crazy alien journey. And again, that whole journey through the art, the whole journey through all of the light shows and the sounds and the crazy things is like art. It's pure art. Oh, that mosquito definitely has my blood in his body, and he's dead now. The whole thing is like art. It's like a giant painting. You can imagine it's called the Stargate sequence, but when he goes through that, and it says Infinity and Beyond, which for those of you Toy Story fans, I hope you noticed that that's what Buzz Lightyear says. So when he goes to Infinity and Beyond, it's like a beautiful work of art. It's this kind of amazing thing, and he gets transformed into this giant space baby. Again, they evolve him, right? So the monkeys evolve, Hal evolves, and then eventually Dave Bowman evolves into a giant space baby, and then he returns to Earth to I don't even know what. There's books and things, and don't worry about it. He's to change humanity forever. It's worth noticing that before Dave Bowman gets reborn as a giant space baby, because the aliens evolve him just like they evolved the monkeys and maybe Hal. Floyd, when he's on the moon, stops to talk to his daughter. And what does he tell his daughter? Happy birthday. I hope you have a good birthday. And then Poole, who is the doomed astronaut on board the Jupiter mission, his parents call and they wish him a happy birthday. Not a lot of talking in this movie, but two of the pieces of talking involve wishing someone a happy birthday. Two different characters, two different happy birthdays, two different areas, right? One's on the moon, one's in Jupiter. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. What does the movie end with? Someone being reborn as a giant fucking space baby. Happy goddamn birthday, Dave Bowman, you're a huge baby. So it's like it sets up, it's giving you the hints. Like if you're like, what the fuck is going on at the end of that movie? The movie told you more than once. Birthdays, rebirth, living again, being born as something new. It set this up for you. Okay, cool. So let's talk about some of the other big themes. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh yeah, other ways in which the movie thinks you're smart, I'm going to keep coming back to this. It thinks you're smart enough to just enjoy the beauty of watching spaceships dock, and then it thinks you're up for more. It's like, oh, they're not, audience is smart. They love this stuff. Let's give them another sequence of spaceships docking again. And then it happens a third time, and it takes forever each time. It thinks you're smart enough to kind of deal with that. It also thinks you're smart enough to not find out what the movie is even about for like 45 minutes. Because for 45 minutes, you're just watching this, like, monkeys are playing. What's that box? Oh my God, why are we on, we're space travel now? People are going to the moon? Like, and then there's an announcement about something's wrong. And it's not really until they find that box that you're like, oh, this is about people in the future investigating the box that existed long ago in the past. But like, they make you wait 45 minutes before telling you that. So that means you spent 45 minutes, like a whole TV show, just not knowing what the fuck's going on. You could walk out of the theater at any point. And that intermission, boy, they're like, maybe they could walk out of the theater now. So the movie constantly treats you like you're smart. Okay, cool. It also thinks you're smart enough to deal with new characters. They're just going to abandon characters, be like, you're never going to see those monkeys again, you're not really going to see Floyd again. It thinks you're smart enough to just hear some new people. When we get rid of all the characters that we've been following, people won't leave the theater, they'll stay here and they'll watch it. They think you're smart enough to do that. I love that the movie treats you like you're smart. Okay, cool. Also, it's and one of the most hilarious details in the movie is that you spend the whole monkey sequence not knowing what the fuck is going on, and then you're in space, the moon, and you still don't know what the fuck is going on. And then as soon as they find the monolith on the moon, and you're like, oh shit, the first part of this movie and the second part of this movie are connected because they're both about that black box. Boom, cuts to Jupiter. As soon as they teach you what the first part has to do with the second part, because you've been wondering for like 45 minutes. It's a third part, and the monolith is nowhere in sight, and you have no clue why they're going to Jupiter or what the Jupiter mission has. It's only at the end of the movie that they tell you what the Jupiter mission has to do with the monolith on the moon, and then you have to think about what the monolith on the moon has to do with the monolith that the monkeys were seeing. So it really treats it lets you kind of figure all of that out, and it treats you like you're kind of massively smart. Okay, cool. One of the big, I think we're going to do like one more video, basically. Let me see if I got other smart stuff I want to talk about. And the wordlessness of the end. The whole sequence through the Stargate, where he ends up in this crazy room at the end. It just figures you're smart enough to handle all of that without words. There's no character there to explain what's going on or what's happening. So you have to make some guesses. So like one of the guesses, people have had, and that I've had, is that the furniture is like from the 1700s. And Dave Bowman is from the year 2001. So that furniture, why that furniture? And not some other furniture? It seems it's such a strange thing when he finally gets where he's going and it looks like it's 1750. Why is that? Well, I think for the aliens, maybe they live a long time. And it's entirely possible that they're like, that's what human beings live in, right? That's close enough. Because for them, the 300 years, that is, to me, a huge difference between the 1700s and the 2000s. A huge difference in time. To me, the aliens might be a blip in time. And so they're like, that furniture's basically right. That's what humans sit on. Because for them, they can't tell the difference between furniture from 300 years ago and furniture from now, because 300 years for them is not that much time. It's like your professors who don't know modern slang. The aliens don't know modern furniture. So that old furniture, that old slang, that's basically what you like, right? All right, I'll see you in the next video, maybe the last video.